Portland. The Portlan Trail Blazers. This team's got a lot of upside on it and a lot of downside. They could go in the right direction this year and next year, and they can also go in the wrong direction. There's no telling. It all depends on their free agents and the moves they make, or they trade somebody to what draft picks pan out. Is Damian Lillard the player that everyone thinks he is and the player that everyone wants him to be? Is he a top point guard? He gonna make the next step? He's already on par with most of the NBA point guards. I wouldn't call him elite yet. As far as point guards go, he might be touching there already in the top 10. There's so many great point guards out there in the NBA. They come all over. You can almost name 5 top point guards in each conference. So it's point guard. Point guard position is deep in the NBA. But you got LaMarcus Aldridge. There's a big question mark with him. Is he going to stay? Is he going to go? Is he going to want to trade? A lot of people think he's going to be gone. They don't think he's going to stay there past this year, I guess, or next year after his contract. If he stays, or if this year works out, and I guess he has a change of heart and wants to stay, they might be moving in a right direction, and they might have a team that Portland might actually be able to build around and make the playoffs and actually have a chance to compete. And they almost had one a few years ago with Roy and Odin and all that stuff, but just they had the worst luck. But their times are changing. They're getting a little bit, and they've kind of made up for that. They've had their dog days the past 2 or 3 years, but they're getting better. They've had some solid pickups. They picked up Robin Lopez. He's not the greatest, but he's for a center. Centers are the exact opposite of point guards. They're hard to find. You only got 4 decent ones in the whole league that can actually play for a whole game. So he's all right. You got a few decent pickups for rookies. You have another guard who's Jim. You got McCollum. I think it's named CJ. CJ McCollum. He's looking like he might be a another talented young rookie. So there's something to look forward to for Portland. They've got a few other people. They got Thomas Robinson from Houston. They got him pretty much because Houston didn't have the money to keep him, so they just kind of one of those, here, take him. I'm sure they would have kept him if they could, because this guy he's got some talent. If he'll pan out, who knows? But he's definitely got the potential and talent. But so with Portland, if they can have their core guys, get together and play well and form some type of chemistry and be consistent moving forward, they could make the playoffs this year. But everything has to go right for them. Everything has to go right, because you can't have off nights from Batum and Aldridge. They have to go out there and give it their all. With Damian Lillard, he's got to go out there and he's got to play like the first half of last year. He was magnificent. When I've seen him last year, I was like, wow, he's already a star. He's already playing at Kyrie Irving's level, and he's just got here. He kind of dipped a little bit. Still, by far, the best rookie out of last year's draft. But can you take that momentum and get better from it, and then put it toward the team? And see how the coaching staff can work with them all, make them all happy, get them all on the floor, compete for every game out there. The conference is hard, but toward the end of the seeding, they can sneak in there. I don't see why they couldn't. A team like them or the Mavericks could sneak right on in there. If they're in the East, I'd have them in there. But since they're in the West, it might be a little bit harder for them. So, you know how the West is like the East is like 5 teams deep that are locked. The East is like six, 6 or 7 borderline, or 6 is definitely locked. 7 is, you know, I'd be surprised if they wouldn't make it. But I think that toward the end of the season, it's going to be between them and the Mavericks battling out for the playoffs. So, do they want to make the playoffs? I mean, that could be debated. They might want to try to go out and get another top pick in the draft. But I don't see why they wouldn't just go ahead and go for the playoffs. They're going to be, even if they don't make the playoffs, they're going to be right at that 9, 10 section. They're still not going to have a lottery pick. They're going to be right outside the top 10. So, I mean, why not just go ahead and make the playoffs, make the 8th seed, 7th seed, and, you know, give your fans something to cheer about, you know, make them like this team. Let your players know, hey, look, we're trying to build to some future. Try to get a few of them to stay. And, you know, you still get a decent player. I mean, you can always move up in the draft. You have plenty of assets now. And, you know, see what you can do from there. So, I mean, they've got a few moves to do. So it's I'm pretty high on this team. I don't want to say high, but I like what the moves they made. They made a decent. They put themselves in a position to be good in a few years. But you know, it's a double-edged sword. If LaMarcus Aldridge don't want to be there no more, then they're just right back in the bottom. They can't do it. So everything has to go right. They have to get everyone on board at once. And if they can do that, they have the potential to be, I wouldn't say they'd be an elite team, but they can be competitive, and that's all you need to starting off. I mean, look how the Grizzlies did it. Just barely made it in, knocked off San Antonio that year, and then they've been getting better ever since. And in my opinion, if they can get everyone together, they'll be alright. Let me know what you think about this team.